In today's video we're going to be changing my diesel heater in my workshop over to a MaxPeedingRod Bluetooth diesel heater. So in the box we get a nice set of gloves if you want to use them, a well illustrated manual. This has got all the information with nice pictures on how to set things up and use them. This is actually one of the best manuals I've seen for a diesel heater. This is the fourth one that I fitted now. You get the fuel tank, wiring loom, all the fittings and your nuts and bolts, a diesel filter, the diesel pump, the tube to go in the fuel tank, the exhaust. Then you've got some ducting to bring the airflow in. You've got the exhaust and the inlet valves, a plate, exhaust tape, and then a display with an on-off remote control. It also comes with a nice little kit to change the glow plug and with a spare glow plug as well. So that's nice that you don't have to try and source that if you ever need to change it. I haven't shown the install process, as this part is already shown in one of my previous videos, and there's also loads of people doing videos of the install. Now, I've used the original ductings and the exhaust and inlet, but I've used the new pump just in case it's a more powerful pump, and the line just in case it's thicker. The most important thing on the install is make sure that you get your pump at between 30 and 45 degrees. This stops air blockages. If we go inside now, one annoying thing of this install, the cable coming to the control unit was actually behind my panels that I had on the wall, so I've had to take everything off just to get that one cable through, but never mind. Well, we're going to set this up for the first time now. I apologise about the display. It doesn't seem to be any brighter than it is, unless I can find a setting once I've got it started. If I press the up and down arrows for 2 seconds, this starts the manual pump.
Manual injection oil mode.
That's quite nice. It actually speaks to you. And it's showing oil on the display. The fan has started. We can now hear the pump starting. Well, the manual injection mode is now finished and it's gone automatically into startup. In normal temperature mode, we can press the OK button to cycle through the temperature settings. If we press the setting button for a couple of seconds, we're now in P mode instead of temperature mode, and we can reduce this down, which reduces the power output from P1 up to P5. So this is in power 1 mode. Power 2 mode will increase the fuel pump and increase the fan. Power 3 mode, and now you can't hear the pump so much because the fan's making more noise. And we go all out to P5 mode, which is full on. At full power on my previous 5 kilowatt heater, to have my hand here by the outlet was comfortable, and this is actually reasonably hot on my fingers and I can't actually hold it there for that long. So even though it's still the same power diesel heater, it's actually producing more heat than the previous one was. Now, this might be the reason that the pump is actually a bit louder, because it's getting more fuel in and it's getting it hotter. So that's really nice for here, because I nearly bought the 7 kilowatt version that they do, but decided not to, as I wanted the Bluetooth ability and the temperature control. If we long press the button on the right hand side, we go from full power to temperature mode. Now we're in temperature mode, we can set the temperature anywhere from 30 degrees down to 5 degrees. Now interestingly, in the manual, I didn't realise this before, it actually has a start up and set down timer in the control, so that I can set it to come on at say 10 o'clock at night and turn off at 4 o'clock in the morning when it's really cold, and then that will keep it above 5 degrees. I've just turned the unit off so that I can go into Bluetooth pairing mode. But one nice thing that the remote control's got is actually got MaxPeedingRods stamped on the bottom of it. The amount of remote controls, unless I put a label on them, trying to remember what item they correspond to. So if we press the power button and the down arrow for 2 seconds, this should take me into Bluetooth mode. And it says OC1. If we now go onto the app and go add device, parking heater, confirm the indicator is blinking rapidly. Well, we've got a Bluetooth signal in the corner, so we'll say yes. One device added, parking heater, add this device. I've pressed the plus button and now it's added it successfully. So in this mode, you can't actually do anything until you turn the power on, which is greyed out in the bottom here. So if we press that, then everything starts up. It shows it what level the power's at, temperature that you want it to get to, and we can go from basically smart mode to auto, pump the fuel, or fan mode only if we wanted cooler air. After using the diesel heater for the last 9 hours, running it overnight at the lowest setting, it has used 2 litres of red diesel, which equates to 220 millilitres per hour. With the temperature range you can set the thermometer to on the diesel heater, on the control pad you can only go down to 5 degrees and go all the way up to 30 degrees. But if you use the app, you can go all the way up to 40 degrees and it shows up on the screen, and all the way down to 0 degrees. So when it's in smart mode, if it was set at say 3 degrees, if the temperature ever dropped in my workshop below 3 degrees, it would increase the amount of fuel that goes into the heater. This is going to work perfectly for those cold nights where you want to leave the diesel heater on, but if it gets really cold, the diesel heater will automatically ramp up the amount of fuel it uses to keep the minimum temperature. So after running the diesel heater all night, it's 5 degrees outside, and inside my workshop is at 15 degrees. This is with the diesel heater running on tick over for the last 9 hours. What it does, it keeps the temperature of the diesel heater at approximately 200 degrees Celsius, but reduces the fan right down. So in the app we have the temperature gauge, which is the minimum temperature, and it also shows the temperature of the unit. We can do centigrade or Fahrenheit. We then have the gear level, which is the amount of power. So this is at full level, level 5. If we go down to level 1, it will now start to drop the fan heat down, and it will also decrease the amount of fuel it uses. At the bottom we have switch, which gives us smart mode, auto mode, pump the fuel mode if you need to reprime it, and fan mode, which will just give you a cooling fan of the ambient temperature. And then we have an on-off switch at the bottom. When we use the on-off switch, the unit says bye-bye and shows off, and now it's going into cool down mode, where the fan will continue to run and the whole system will shut down over the next few minutes. So the fuel has now stopped, and now the fan is increasing to reduce the temperature of the engine. When the unit shuts down, it shows the voltage of the battery. When you're using the app, if the unit is turned off, the on-off button in the bottom left-hand corner is dimmed out. But if you actually tap the on-off button, it turns the unit on. This is the only part on the app that's not logical. When you start the diesel heater up, it slowly ramps up the fuel to get the heater up to temperature. As soon as it's up to temperature, then it will go back into smart mode and reduce the pump down to the desired ambient temperature that you're after. After using the diesel heater now for a week, I can highly recommend trying this diesel heater out. It's definitely hotter than my previous 5 kilowatt heater. I've tried setting up the SwitchBot hub to work as the infrared, but it doesn't seem to want to work. So I can't recommend using a SwitchBot with this particular setup, but I will carry on trying to find a way of using this over the internet. So a quick rundown on the MaxPeedingRods parking air heater that I've purchased from Amazon. I bought the 5 kilowatt version to replace my old Chinese diesel heater because I had a 09 error code on it, and I haven't got time to get round to fixing it yet, so I'll do that later in the year. But the MaxPeedingRod 5 kilowatt heater is definitely hotter on the outlet. It comes with a nice remote control that you can use as well if you're at the other side of the workshop. The reason I went for the MaxPeedingRod is because I bought their 5.5 kilowatt generator, and I've been in contact with them via customer service because I have a slight issue with the display on it, which we have rectified now. I've just got to wait for it to get a bit warmer so I can manipulate some wires. But their customer service was very good. I got a reply each time to my questions within 24 hours, and I also got follow-up emails when I forgot to reply a couple of times. So the customer service from MaxPeedingRods for myself has been excellent. So I can highly recommend buying this diesel heater, especially as I have the ability now to control it by a temperature and also have it on a timer, so I can have it start up in the middle of the night and have it set to 5 degrees, which will keep the temperature above freezing. I'll leave a link in the description below where I purchased it from Amazon. Thank you for watching and subscribing. Have a lovely day.